Alright, brand new deck profile today. We've got a new card available for the Rose Dragon deck. This card lets you synchro summon during your opponent's turn, lets you blow up their board during their turn, which is really cool. And on top of that, when a card is destroyed, you can banish this from the graveyard and then special summon the monster, the Red Rose Dragon that you just blew up their board with, to basically special summon it back. That way you gain back your advantage. But it's actually a really good card for the deck. But let's get started. We play 3 copies of Red Rose Dragon. This card on normal summon lets you special summon another Rose Dragon, which is typically going to be the Red Rose Dragon. It's the White Rose Dragon, of course. And then its second effect is that you can, if you control a Dragon Tuner or a Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand for free. And then on top of that, if this card is used as synchro material, you can send a level 4 higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard, which will typically be our, let me show it to you, World Carrot Weight Champion. Yeah, but basically it does a lot for the deck. And the next one is a level 3, that's a level 4. Very easy to summon the main dragon, the Rose Dragon from your deck, from your extra deck. But basically, the awesome part about this card is that if it's used as material for a synchro summon, you can special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your deck or graveyard. And then on top of that, if you special summon a plant synchro or a red, why am I having a brain fart? A Black Rose Dragon from your, if you summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck with using this as synchro material, you can search either the Blooming or you can search the Frozen Rose, which both are very good cards for various different purposes. Then we play 2 copy of Dark Rose Fairy. This card is very good with a lot of new cards. Basically, if a tuner monster is special summon, you can special summon this card from your hand, and this card works just as well with, for example, Needle Fiber. If you summon a monster off of Needle Fiber, you can still activate this in hand. And then it has a graveyard effect, which I almost never use, which is that you can basically put on the top of your deck. But I never use that effect. I don't think it's all that necessary. Let me zoom out a little close there. Next, we play 1 copy of Destrudo. Destrudo in any monster makes a Black Rose Dragon. Glow Up Bulb, best thing to summon off of the Needle Fiber, but you can actually summon the Red Rose Dragon off of Needle Fiber too. So it's not only that. So it's definitely beneficial for that. We've got the World Carrot Weight Champion. This card, when you send it to the graveyard, you can send a plant to the graveyard and special summon this back. Next, we play another plant engine. We play 2 Lone Fire Blossoms. It searches a lot of cards in the deck, but you don't want to, there's a decent amount of normal summons in the deck, so you only need 1 in the hand. You don't have too many normal summons in the hand. So yeah, we play 2 of those. We might bump that up to 3. We'll see how things go, but this next engine will help you get the Crossroads Dragon very easily onto your field. You play 2 copies of the Predaplant Orphoscorpio. You play 2 copies of the Darling Cobra. And that is, I think, all of the general monsters in the deck. But then we also play Hand Traps, which is Ghost Ogre. Again, this card is actually a tuner too, so that's very helpful. Play 2 DD Crow because it's very good against the meta right now. And we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Springs. All of these are tuners except for DD Crow. And the great thing about this deck is that you don't actually need a lot of resources. So you can pour a lot of your resources into Hand Traps because you really only need to summon 2 monsters and 1 plant. And then you can blow up your opponent's board during their turn. And the following turn you can do all types of other stuff. But you can play Hand Traps because you don't need to pour a lot of resources into that kind of stuff. Next we play 3 copies of Frozen Rose. This card allows you to send a monster from your side of the field to the graveyard, and it is a quick play. And then if it's a plant, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card during the end phase. Or you can, if it's a non-plant monster, you can add a plant that's level 4 or lower to your hand. Which is, both effects are pretty good, and it's a quick play, so you can actually, you can activate it during your opponent's turn and then do all types of cool stuff like, draw and then discard. Play 1 copy of Black Garden. It's searchable. It's a +1. It's decent. It's not my favorite card in the deck, but it's free, so you really can't complain because it's a free card you're getting every time you're summoning the Black Rose Maiden. It's basically free. There's no reason not to play it. And then on top of that, like let's say you summon 3 tokens to your opponent's side of the field. 3 tokens, send them to the graveyard, and you can summon Black Rose Dragon and blow up the board. Then we play 1 copy of Pot of Avarice, incredible in the deck. You put a lot of monsters in the graveyard very quickly. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. 3 copies of Instant Fusion. It's searchable, and on top of that, it lets you... The utility out of Instant Fusion is very, very sizable, so I'd say it's definitely worth playing. And then 3 copies of Super Poly. Again, same thing. The utility out of this is insane. You can break your opponent's board. On top of that, it actually can help you OTK too. 1 copy of Blooming, just 1 copy. This card is the same thing. It puts tokens on your side of the field, which is good. You can help you with Crossroads Dragon along with other things. But yeah, it puts tokens on your side of the field, and it can banish a monster and then bring it back on your side of the field, and then put this in your deck. Then we play 3 impermanents, because like I said, we're not really too concerned with... like, we don't need a lot of cards to make Crossroads Dragon and blow up our opponent's board, so we can commit a lot to hand traps, make sure they build a weak board, and then just blast it. Alright, so next we've got the main deck. We play 1 copy of Crossroads. Again, this lets you summon the Black Rose Dragon during your opponent's turn. Awesome card. 1 copy of Predaplan Verde Anaconda. Same thing with this. You can send either of those 2 fusions, and then either of those 2, either Instant Fusion or the Super Poly to the graveyard, and you get to use them without having to draw them. 1 copy of Crystron Needle Fiber. This is very good in the deck because it works very well with that fairy that I told you about, the Rose Fairy. Because as soon as you summon, like, again, you don't have to summon the Globe Bulb, but you can summon, because you can also summon the Red Rose Dragon, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it has a lot of synergy with the deck, and on top of that, it lets you link climb into stuff, and then it gives you zones to summon underneath, like Black Rose and stuff like that. Definitely a very good card. 1 Relinquished Anima, because obviously you're playing Instant Fusion. I'm going to show you the Instant Fusion targets, so it's going to become, a little more clear. 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon. 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, which I like probably a little bit better. I think it's going to be even better once the new rules come into the meta. 1 copy of Desert Locust. This is a card you're summoning off of Needle Fiber during your opponent's turn. This deck plays a lot during your opponent's turn, like a lot, which I really like. 1 copy of Garden Rose Maiden. This card's also very good on summon. It searches Black Garden, and on top of that, you can banish this out of the graveyard and summon either the Black Rose Dragon from your graveyard, or, well, I mean, not only Black Rose Dragon, but a Rose Dragon monster, meaning even the little ones. Or you can summon a Dragon Synchro monster from your graveyard, which can be any Dragon Synchro. And then we play 1 copy of Trishula and 1 copy of the Crystal Wing, which is very, very easy to make. So we play a decent amount of what are these things called? The Synchro monsters, very decent amount. And on top of that, like, for example, you can do cool, some of these levels are really cool. So you can, like, summon Desert Locust during your opponent's turn, make your opponent discard, and then this has a quick effect to Synchro Summon during your opponent's turn. So you can use Desert Locust and a Fairy. The Fairy, what's it called? The Black Rose Fairy. Let me pull one out. You can use that and a Black Rose Fairy to Synchro Summon into Crystal Wing during your opponent's turn, which is super awesome. I always thought that was a pretty nice combo when I was testing this. But you can make your opponent discard, and then you can summon Crystal Wing during their turn, and this is, of course, after you blow up their board. Then we've got, for the Instant Fusion targets, 1 Millennium Eyes Restrict. Very good card. Prevents you from getting hand trapped by everything except for impermanence. Then we've got Thousand Eyes Restrict, which, again, same thing. You steal a monster 1,000 Eyes, and then you can make the Relinquished Anima, and then you can basically steal another monster. It's free. Steal 2 monsters, link them away, you know how it is. 1 copy of Sea Monster Theseus, another Instant Fusion target. The beneficial thing about Sea Monster Theseus is that it allows you to use it as link material for the Crystron Needle Fiber, since it is a tuner, and then on top of that, it is a tuner. It is a level 5 tuner, so again, same thing. The Dark Rose The Dark Rose Fairy works very well with it because you activate Instant Fusion, you summon Theseus, it's Tuner summoned, and you get to special summon this, and then you can go into Black Rose. Easy peasy. Then we play one copy of Starving Venom. I like this one. This is one of our Super Poly targets. I like the Super Poly target because it works with our deck, so it's not really like a brick at any point because you can Super Poly it. You can use Super Poly during the battle phase and sort of, you can either break your opponent's board or you can use Super Poly during the battle phase and sort of get an extra attack in. And it's this card is very similar to Black Rose too because it blows up the board when it leaves. So, if Black Rose didn't blow up their board enough, this can blow up their board again. And then one Borreload Furious Dragon because again, you just this is basically any 2 dragons. It's very good against a lot of decks in the meta, but on top of that, it's also very good for just continuing attacks. So for that reason, I do play this one. But you can, mess around with the extra deck, change things up. But yeah, that's it. That is the Black Rose deck profile. Thank you for watching, and subscribe.